I was the oldest person to surf Mavericks for the first time. So I was 59 and a half when I first caught a successful wave at Mavericks.
Lionel, yeah, would love to actually go deeper into the day when you made your debut as the older surfer to paddle out at Mavericks. Take us through how you decided what was the right day and time to paddle out on, and then also a little bit into your pre-surf ritual, food, gear checks, maybe any mental prep that happened that day. Maybe you meditated and then geared up and got ready to paddle out. Would love for you to take us through that.
Sure. It firstly, just to clarify, so I believe, and I've talked to everybody that has surfed Mavericks for a long time, that I was the oldest person to surf Mavericks for the first time. So I was 59 and a half when I first caught a successful wave at Mavericks. And that was after I started surfing when I was about 53. And I decided to surf Mavericks in my 60th year because in my life, I've always, on my big decade birthdays, I've always decided to do something, a big physical challenge. And previously it had been primarily in the cycling realm. For my 50th birthday, I rode Leadville, which is the highest mountain bike race in the world, 103 miles, all above 10,000 feet. And then when I was 40, I did 7 straight days of the Tour de France. And when I was 30, I competed in the World Triathlon Championships. And then prior to that, I was the decathlete and then also played football in college. And so I've always chosen to do on big decade birthdays, a physical challenge. And I'd been fascinated with Mavericks before I started surfing, actually. I used to go down and when I first moved to San Francisco, I'd go down and watch the competitions. And I just, for some reason, it got into my imagination as something amazing. And so I decided to do it. And I hired a coach, a woman named Bianca Valente, who I'm sure you if you don't know her, you've seen Bianca around Ocean Beach, and she's kind of queen of Ocean Beach, and she's queen of Mavericks. I asked her whether she would coach me. After a long interview, she finally decided that she would agree to coach me, and so she and I started working together in March of 2021, and she made me do all kinds of things. We did, 2-day breath hold coaching sessions, and we did a paddle from Cronkite to Sausalito, 9-mile paddle. And we did all kinds of training at Ocean Beach and on bigger days. And then, down at Scotts Creek on bigger days. And then also down at Steamer Lane on big days, all with the goal of preparing to be able to surf Mavericks. And we went out and did a whole bunch of safety stuff, jet ski safety stuff. We did a 2-day safety summit, Maverick Safety Summit, with all the regular guys. So I put about, before I actually paddled out for the very first time with the intention of trying to surf Mavericks, which would have been in November of 2021, I'd done a lot of work. And I spent the entire summer up at my summer home in Canada, prone paddling, paddling a couple of miles a day, every day. And when I actually went out to try and surf Mavericks, and I did probably 5 sessions where I attempted to catch waves and fell and wasn't successful. And I would say that, and I've said this to a number of people who are surfing Mavericks for the first time, the best thing you can do is fall. The earlier you fall, the more you realize, okay, this is what I'm in for. And you can kind of take the worry of what's going to happen. And when I fell the first time, I had a decently long hold down. I was very, very confident in my ability to hold my breath. I mean, in the breath hold work we did, I got up to 4 minutes holding my breath static, lying face down in the pool. And what they say is that if you can, hold your breath for 4 minutes, then active, you can probably do half. And, in the longest hold down, if you had a 3-wave hold down at Maverick, even if it was on a 20-second period day, the longest you're going to be underwater is a minute, which is a tremendously long time. Don't get me wrong, particularly when you're getting thrashed around and you get pushed down 20 feet and you're underwater and everything, and you don't know which way is up and it's black and everything. But if you've done the work and you know that you can hold your breath for 4 minutes in a static position, you can probably hold your breath for 2 minutes in an active position. Even if your lungs are screaming when you're at a minute, you still got some time. You're not going to black out. You're good. So you've got time. The longest hold down I think I probably have ever had, which was when I was at Sunset, is like maybe 32 seconds. I count. They tell you not to count, but I always count. I count Tacomas because I've got a little friend of mine, Erin Brooks, who's may know of her. She's an amazing surfer. And she told me that the kids in Hawaii all count Tacomas. They practice when they're driving around. And, when I was a kid, we used to play Volkswagen. You used to count Volkswagen Beetles when you're driving on a long drive. And they do a variation of that game where the first Tacoma they see, they hold their breath and they have to count 10 Tacomas before they can take another breath. But there's Tacomas all over the place in Hawaii. So, you could be holding your breath for 15 seconds, or you could be holding your breath for a minute, but probably not longer than a minute. So anyway, I count Tacomas whenever I fall. And I know that if I'm at 20 Tacomas, I've got a good 30 or 40 more Tacomas in me before I got any issues. It's a way to help me stay very calm. One of the sayings in big wave surfing is panic equals death. And so it's really important, no matter what's happening, to stay calm and not panic.